What is going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to the Georgia Meth Show. Today, my people, well, I know it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since I've been up here, but we're back. We're better than ever, and we're going to get this show on a roll. Guys, we got a lot of topics to talk about. I'm talking from college football to the NFL to WWE to baseball. We got a lot of things going on, obviously, in the sports world. Obviously, football yesterday, college on Saturday. Baseball off season, WWE, John Cena's retirement tour soon coming to an end. Got a lot to talk about. Before we start, like I say every time, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below every single thoughts of the topics that we discussed today. Let me know your opinion, what I said, maybe the comment or the situation, whatever, etc. Let me know down below. All right, let's get started. So as you guys know, every single time I start a show, one of the first things I do, or the first thing I do, is give a positive quote. This is something basically to inspire people, turn basically their frown upside down, make them happy, something that maybe motivates them, gets them on, a bit of a better mood, things like that, etc. So here's the quote for today. All it takes is just a little change of perspective and you begin to see a whole new world. That is a quote from Bob Ross. So in my opinion, what he's saying from there is sometimes we get into a rough patch in life. Sometimes we see things and we just think straight negative. When in actuality, if we sit down and really think about it and change the perspective, we'll see a whole new thing. It opens up a whole new door for us. A lot of the times we don't really think about it because of the obvious. We're upset at the time, or maybe we're frustrated with what's going on. Maybe things at home are not making it easy, So just changing your perspective, understanding another point of view, maybe what's going on, maybe what's the reasoning, changes your whole mindset and mentality with everything. That's how, I believe. Love this quote because we get frustrated a lot and we get upset with certain situations. But if we change the perspective and understand, maybe, hey, I maybe understand why that person's upset because this, and that may have happened to them, or this and that is going on in their life. Just things like that, little things like that make sense. Hope that inspires people, motivates you guys. I'm going to always do this, always, because I believe we only live once, We only live once. We might as well enjoy life while we can because we never know what can happen tomorrow. It's never guaranteed. All right, let's start off with the first topic here, ladies and gentlemen. We got John Cena. Yo, guys, his last Raw appearance ever in Madison Square Garden, the best arena in the whole world. His last appearance is scheduled to be tonight on Raw. His last Raw appearance ever, you guys, as a wrestler, of course. He'll probably be on Raw as, just somebody just to speak, but as a wrestler, his last Raw. So, last week, as you guys know, in Boston, John Cena defeated Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. Now that makes him an official Grand Slam champion. Now, if you don't know what a Grand Slam champion is, it's when you win every single WWE title that they offer for you. So that being the tag team titles, the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title, the World Heavyweight title, the Universal title, or the Undisputed title now. Every single title that you can think of, you can win in WWE. If you win them all, you become a Grand Slam champion. So I know like people like The Miz is a Grand Slam champion. I think The Big Show, Roman Reigns. I know people like Sheamus, all they need is the Intercontinental title to win it. I think Brock Lesnar needs the Intercontinental and U.S. title. Well, he needs a lot, but yeah, so I think there's like 25 superstars that have became a Grand Slam champion. John Cena is now officially in that conversation. So let's talk about his last appearance on Raw tonight, you guys. So he'll probably face somebody, most likely tonight, obviously it being his last Raw. Maybe lose the title to them. Who knows? He probably is going to make that decision who faces him tonight. Who knows what happens? We'll see. Listen, this is going to be great, man. I forget who it was that was talking about it, but it's like when John Cena's gone, it's going to be way different now. Things are going to be way different. Because the problem is that WWE is lacking on that development of a big star. That's the problem. The issue is they're lacking on developing somebody to become that consistent everyday type, show up Raw and SmackDown type of guy. That's the issue. Um, I think Cody does get his chance and all that, but at the end of the day, if we have to sit here and be honest with ourselves, it still feels like the torch was handed off to Cody from Roman, but the level of interest on a night to night basis and a level of storytelling and interest level on the story that's going on with that individual, it just doesn't feel the same. I think that's one of the biggest problems right now. I think Triple H is in a hole where he's lacking on that one person where WWE is, or the fans are invested into, oh shoot, what's going to happen tonight on SmackDown? What's Roman going to do? What's Cody going to do? Or let's say, what's Cody going to do? Let's scratch Roman. What's Cody going to do? What is he going to say to, Drew McIntyre? What is he going to say to Kevin Owens? What is he going to say to Sami Zayn or Jey Uso? I think that's the problem. Before, a lot of people used to be invested on, oh shit, what's going to happen between Roman and Jey? What's going to happen between the bloodline? What's going to happen between Roman and Brock? What's going to happen? What is Roman going to say to The Rock? And things like that. But it's missing. He's missing that one superstar that will keep people invested every single night. That's the issue. A lot of the things right now, a lot of these shows feel very stale. It feels like a lot of things it's the same thing every week. I remember at a point in time, now I don't know if they've done the same, but I remember at a point in time where Raw was the same ending, where it was Seth Rollins coming out with Braun Breaker and Brunson Reed and disqualifying somebody and just beating them up, and that's how the show ended. Friday Night SmackDown, I think it was Solo and his squad, the same thing every night. It feels very stale. Like, it doesn't keep you interested and invested for the next show because you're like, shit, we're going to have the same bullshit. Literally, we're going to have the same thing where Seth is going to come out, curb stomp CM Punk to the ground, and he's going to put up his title, go, yay, I'm the champion, and that's it. So I think that's where he's lacking on right now, is the aspect of getting someone who, is he can develop to keeping people invested. Roman was that guy, but people got to understand, because I always see that a lot, and it always comes to my mind, but we have to understand, you guys, that Roman has a disease, let's call it like that. He has a disease, or let's say a health issue that is very difficult to be balancing out that schedule of showing up every week on Monday, Friday, pay-per-view. It's very difficult, and I think people don't understand it. And I say it because I'm not coming off as a fan. I'm coming off as somebody speaking the truth. When you suffer from leukemia and you have basically cancer, it's not easy, you guys, to having to worry about traveling to show, getting on a plane, show to show, going to a pay-per-view, show to show, going across the country to do a Europe tour, that being going to Saudi Arabia, that being going to Australia, that being going to, let's say, Toronto. People to understand that's not easy. That puts a lot of beat up on your body. And for a gentleman that has that type of disease like what he has, that's not easy. So people got to understand the work that he's been putting in, especially the last 5 years since COVID started till last year. It's not easy. And, he developed that tribal chief character will go down in history as, if not the best, one of the best characters ever. Ever. That heel role solidified Roman as one of the best of all time. No question about it. He elevated the WWE to heights they haven't seen in a long time. Long time. And he grinded, he carried that company, and he did a great job. Stories, people were invested in the Bloodline stories. I remember that one night at the Royal Rumble. I remember how loud the crowd was when Sami Zayn hit Roman with the chair in the back. People don't understand how loud they were at a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. that people were invested in that character and every single storyline, what was going on. Now, obviously, eventually you got to move on. You got to try to develop another superstar, but that's where they're lacking on. Listen, I understand Braun Breaker is the guy they're trying to push up to that mountain, but Braun Breaker still got work to do. He still has work to do. That promo skills of his is not the best. I feel like you put him in there with a Gunther. Maybe you put him in there with, let's say a Dominic Mysterio. He will probably get beat because I will give Dominic that. He is pretty good at doing promos and going back and forth. His heel persona works very well. So I think that's the issue. Now, John Cena, listen, he deserves this, man. What he did for this company, you got to give him props. Not many people do that stuff. Literally. You got to give him props. But it will be interesting who's his last opponent. I want to say Sheamus. I could see being his last opponent on Raw and Sheamus winning the Intercontinental title. I could see that. I don't know. I don't see anybody else, to be honest with you. But listen, we'll see what happens. Let's see what they decide to do with John Cena tonight. His last Raw. It's going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Now, shifting to some baseball talk, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with some breaking news that happened last night. I believe it was like 10 o'clock, 10 p.m.-ish, I think, something like that. It is Josh Naylor, you guys, is back with the Seattle Mariners. So it was reported last night, breaking. I'm going to read it just like this. First baseman Josh Naylor and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 5-year contract, sources familiar with deal tell ESPN. The first major free agent to sign this winter, going back to Seattle, where he has beloved after joining the Mariners in the trade deadline. So, let's break this down. Let's discuss this. How can it impact other teams, players, everything like that. So let's discuss. So the money, everything like that hasn't really been confirmed. Now, it is said that the contract finances are yet official, but it's estimated that it's around 90 to 100 million. That's per Ari Alexander, an AAV of 18 to 20 million a year. So let's discuss. Listen, I think that was a good choice. I think Seattle did a good job bringing him back. The Mariners did need an impact hitter, somebody that was going to come back and, cause some damage in the lineup. They also needed some infield help. So this is a good trade. So let's first start off with the discussion of how he do this past season to worthy of that contract. So as you guys know, Josh Naylor was with the Diamondbacks. He was traded, I think, last offseason from the Guardians to the Diamondbacks. They traded for him. And so across both teams in 2025, he had a 295 batting average with an on-base percentage of a 353, slugging of 462, had an OPS of 816 and an OPS plus of 128. He had 20 home runs, 92 RBIs, and 30 stolen bases. He had a WAR of 3.1. So let's break this down a little bit. So after he was traded from Seattle in the 54 games that he had with them, he hit a 295 batting average with 9 home runs and 33 RBIs. His on-base percentage was 341, and he was slugging a 490, leading to an OPS of 831 during his time with Seattle. He stole 19 bases in that 54 games for the Mariners, and he was never caught. That's a huge for a first baseman, man. He showed his speed. In the postseason, he stepped up, and over the 12 games that they played, he hit a 340, launched 3 home runs, and drove 5 RBIs. His performance in big moments made him a very valuable piece for the Seattle October push. So let's discuss. Obviously, we know that Seattle wants to win. They've been going to the playoffs, I believe, they have just not been able to get the job done. They still need a couple pieces to get moving and hit well, and they could possibly make it far. So, listen, I think this was a good signing. You bring back a first baseman. You traded for him at the off deadline. You want to solidify this team, keep it the same. If it ain't broke, don't. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Literally, he did a good job for you guys. 5 years, not bad. Also, you get him at an AAV of 18 to 20 million. This is just rumor, but we'll see. That's not a bad option. I think that's a good job. Now, obviously, the Mariners still have some more work to do. Like I said, they need to get more bench players, some infield help defensively. But overall, I like this. I think Josh Naylor will do a good job for them for the next 5 years. I think this contract will weigh out pretty good. He is a one-time All-Star. He's only, let me see, 28 years old. So that's not a bad contract. He has a career WAR of 8.4. So overall, I would say this is a good deal. Good deal for Seattle. I think just continue working on helping that bullpen and being effective. You guys have a chance. You're in the American League. Try to go out there. You got a good rotation going on. Get it effective. Go make trades. Go sign players. Go spend some cachet. Get the work done. Now, what does it mean for the other side, which is what a lot of people have been talking about? Obviously, the top first baseman right now, who's a free agent, is Pete Alonso. And now everybody's discussing, obviously, now the Mets have a minimum of work they have, or art that they have to work with. So it has to be 5 years, at least more over than $100 million for Pete Alonso. Everybody's saying that the Mets would have to match, minimum to start off. Let's discuss, shift it on a little bit to the Mets offseason work from that. So here's my thing. Let's start off with Pete. Here's what I'll say. Pete, the thing is like, here's how I look at it. Pete wants 7 years. He wants a 7-year contract. No, I wouldn't give it to him. No, I'm not going to give him a 7-year contract. No, I'm not going to lock him in. Yes, I will give him 5 years very generously. 3 or 4 is what I really would want to give him. But here's the thing. Give him 5 years, 125. Get it at the AAV of 25 million. I think that would be absolutely perfect for Pete Alonso. Let's discuss. So, number one. We need to go out and find a true ace, a true number one, a true guy that you can be like, here you go, take the ball, win us game 1 in the postseason. Here you go, here's the ball, win us game 1 of the opening day. That's what we need right now. We need that one number one who we're going to give the ball to every single year opening day. Like how the Dodgers did with Clayton Kershaw, like how the Giants did with Madison Bumgarner, like how the Phillies are doing with Zach Wheeler, like how the Yankees are doing with Garrett Cole, like how the Astros did with Justin Verlander a lot. That's what we need. We need to go out and get Tarek Skubal. Listen, if he becomes available, I would go out and get him. We are way too good of a team to not make it to the postseason. We didn't make it to the playoffs last year. We got to splash. We got to make moves. We got to improve and get better. I would go out, get Tarek Skubal. If he's available, if the Tigers want to trade him, go out and get him. If not the best pitcher right now, he's at least the second best pitcher in baseball behind Paul Skeens, in my opinion. It'd be a coin toss between them two. He would push your odds, obviously, to go to the World Series way much more. Why? Because the Dodgers just won the World Series back-to-back. They're obviously going to focus on getting better. The Phillies are going to be good. The Padres are going to be up there. We got to do some work. Diamondbacks, obviously, are going to probably do their thing. The Giants also. We got to improve. Cubs, all that. We have to get better. It's embarrassing that we spent all that money. We have such a high payroll that we didn't even make the postseason, for crying out loud. Not even the postseason. Like, that is not acceptable at all. We got to focus on getting a true number one. I would also say go out, maybe sign like a Framil Valdez. I would like that, for the rotation, get some rotation depth. That would be very nice. Bullpen. We need to work on our bullpen. We need to get some reinforcements. I would bring back Ryan Helmsley on a 1-year deal, more of like a prove it type of deal. Also sign Chris Martin. I would bring Chris Martin, veteran. I think that would be a good idea. Pete Fairbanks from the Tampa. I would bring him in. Closer role, here's the thing, because here's the mindset that I've had. The closer role is so, like, to me, it just doesn't feel like a role that I want to spend so much money on. And I understand the logic of the role. But I would go out if I was the Mets and I would get Peter Fairbanks as my closer. I'm sorry. I understand Diaz had a phenomenal year and all that. But me personally, I just don't think it's necessary to spend so much money on a closer. For what? Literally, for what? It's not necessary at all. Think about it. Who in the blue hell did the Dodgers have closing this past the last game? Game 7. Who did they have closing? Yoshi Yamamoto. That is a starter. Who did they have closing the year before that? Walker Buehler. That is a starter. Again, that is a starter. So it's like, why are you going, in my opinion, why are you going to invest so much money into a closer when you can just either bring one up from your farm system, develop him, or get a veteran arm, or go out and get a Peter Fairbanks and put him in there? But why would you spend so much money when it's like in big moments, your closer's not even used most of the time? Literally, it's that's the thing. So, I just don't feel like it's necessary to spend so much money on a closer. Literally, I get it. Diaz had a great season. He won the reliever of the year. Very good props to him. But it doesn't matter. It's a closer. At the end of the day, that's somebody you can go out and get any single time and not have to pay that much money to. I don't think it's necessary. We obviously saw the Astros go out and give what was this gentleman's name? I forgot his name. Josh Hader. They gave him the biggest contract for a closer in history. For what? They didn't even make the postseason. That's just money spent on your payroll. That's not necessary, in my opinion. I would say go out, get a cheaper closer. Get somebody who you can get in there and just develop. But I don't think it's necessary. It's just not, in my opinion. Like I said, obviously, that's going to be a big decision. Are you going to bring back Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz? Listen, with Pete, I'm going to put it like this, very simple. I would give him 3 to 4 years. 5 is very generous. Get him there as your DH. Go out, get a first baseman who's going to be better defensively. Or if you want, go put Mark Vientos at first. Give Brett Beatty more of some time at third. Keep developing him. Are we in that mode? No. We want to win now. But if that's what you got to do, I would say that. Lock him in as your DH. Or if not, go out and get Kyle Schwarber. Make Kyle Schwarber your DH. I think that would be beautiful. Go out, get Kyle Schwarber if Pete doesn't want to get a 5-year deal. Fudge that. We got to spend money. We got to be in a win-now mode. That's what I would do. I would say we got to do a little bit of work at third base. And we got to do some work on defensively. I would say go out, get a Gio Urshela for third base depth. More of like a person who you can plug in to play defense. Overall, I'm going to say with the Mets, we got to do some work. We got to spend some cachet because that was not acceptable. We did not make it to the playoffs. Not even into the playoffs. It's not like we got eliminated round 1. No, we didn't even make it to the playoffs. We got to solidify this pitching staff. Obviously, we can tell pitching wins games. That's all that matters. Pitching wins games. We got to solidify that rotation. We got to solidify that bullpen. We got to get people that are going to close games. We got to get people that are going to hold the lead while in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning. Because that's been an issue many, many times. First base, go out, get defensively. DH spot is occupied. Put Pete Alonso as your DH. If you don't like it, hey, many more options out there. You got a Kyle Schwarber. You got other people out there. Many more. That's what I would say. Shifting on a little bit to the division rivals, the Braves. Now, here's what I think the Braves need to do. The Braves got to spend some money this offseason. Obviously, we understand that they weren't what people expected. I don't think many people expected the Braves to be this bad like how they were. I think people at least thought that they were going to be behind the Phillies, but not this bad. And they didn't do good. So let's talk about it. The Braves need to go out and get a shortstop, someone who will stabilize that middle of the infield and just keep them going. I would say keep Hassan Kim. Obviously, he's been a bit hurt and all that, but here's why I don't say go out maybe get like a Bo Bichette, because defensively he's not that good. He's becoming more of a second baseman now. He's been hurt a little bit. You have Ozzy Albies there, so why would you go in and get him? That wouldn't make sense. I would say bring back like a Hassan Kim. Maybe go out, try to trade for a shortstop, even though it's probably going to be challenging because a lot of good shortstops are locked in, long contracts. Teams are probably not going to trade them, like a Lindor, like a Correa, like Seager. Makes it a bit difficult. I would say look at your shortstop. They need to go out and get a shortstop. They also need to go out and get a bullpen arms. They need to focus on building that bullpen, making it great. I would say go out maybe get a Gregory Soto, because they need a lefty. They need someone who's gonna shut out, and help Aaron Bummer out. For a closer position, because obviously we know Rafael Iglesias used to be their closer. I would say go out and get Devin Williams. I think Devin Williams would do good in Atlanta in a more of a smaller market where the fans aren't as aggressive. I think he would do a good job there. Um, I think Devin struggled, obviously, being in New York. It's just a whole different atmosphere. He went from Milwaukee, where it's way different fan-wise and everything, to a very big market team, the team where it's like there's big history compared to where he was before. But I think he'd do good in Atlanta. I think the Braves should go out, get him, sign him, onto their team, make him their closer. I think he'd do a good job, me personally. Um, I would say you need to go out and get some rotation depth. You need to get people that are going to be healthy and can last you at least the whole season, to where if it's more of like if you have all five ready, you need at least two more pieces, to where if one goes down, you plug that person in and you guys can continue being good and not have to worry so much to rely on your bullpen and put a lot of pressure on them. I'd say maybe go out and get like a Nestor Cortez, maybe a Michael Lorenzen, because health concerns and adding someone who can stay healthy can help out the pitching staff, obviously, like I said, make them better. I would say, obviously, the last one would be go out, get outfield help. Marcelo Zuna is obviously locked in as your DH. So all you have really is Acuna in right, Harris in center, and then Profar in left. Go out, get a fourth outfielder, maybe like a Mark Cannon or a Marks Kepler. Somebody to where you don't have to rely on having them play every single day, and you can, switch out a little bit and have plateau a little bit. I would say that. But Braves have a lot of work to do. Now, that I know they have a lot of young players, but they had a big decline this year. It was not pretty. They still got a lot of young players and a lot of good players that are locked in for a while. Austin Riley, Matt Olson, which are players that Austin Riley especially, is probably somebody you want to see what happened this past off year, see if he can revive himself, get better. Cunha is going to be Acuna. You still have him for a little while. You got Michael Harris. So you have a lot of people, Sean Murphy. You got a lot of people that are locked in for a while. The thing is you just need more consistency. You need more players that are going to be healthy. A lot of the pitching staff got hurt. And obviously your ace, Spencer, we'll see what happens with him, see what they, how he comes up and alive. Talking about another division rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, they got a lot of work to do. A lot of free agents that are going to be Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, JT Realmuto, Harrison Bader, Nick Castellanos, who I think they're going to let go. Obviously, they got a lot of thinking to do, who they're going to give money out to, etc. So they need to work first on that rotation depth. Losing Ranger Suarez is going to be a big blow, obviously. But you still have, Christopher Sanchez. You have Jesus. Also, you have Aaron Nola. Now, Zach Wheeler probably won't be back till a little while, but you'll have him. So I would say You know, need to go out. I would say go out. Maybe talk to Michael King. You know, they need to go. I would say the Phillies need to go get those type of pitchers that need a prove it deal, like how the Blue Jays did with Shane Bieber. That's what I feel like they need to do. I'd say go talk to Michael King. Maybe go out and get a Shoto Igamanaga to replace Ranger Suarez, pitcher from the Cubs. I'd say bring him back. I would say JT Realmuto, I'd say I'd bring him back on a 2-year deal. Now, if he leaves, maybe go out, talk to Victor Caratini. He would be a good help for the catcher role. Middle of the order, bat would look to sign an Alex Bregman. I would say go out, get Alex Bregman. Try to trade Alec Bohm. I would see if maybe you could go get a good starter if you don't want to spend that much money on starters. Go out, maybe talk to the Twins. I would say try to get rid of Alec Bohm, sign Alex Bregman. Obviously, also get some bullpen depth. Get like a Taylor Rogers, somebody who can eat up innings for you guys. I was going to say Ryan Yarbrough, but the Yankees signed him. Overall, here's the thing. I would keep Kyle Schwarber. I would probably keep JT Realmuto. Harrison Bader, yeah, depending how much he wants. And if you want to bring back Ranger Suarez, bring him back. There is a lot of options. You know, you got Framber Valdez, you got Shoto Imanaga, who are some good lefties. And you got a lot of people that are going to be free agents. I would say I would go out and get an Alex Bregman and trade Alec Bohm. I think Alec Bohm is a player that I would get rid of just because that literally, let me just read it off. He had a 287 batting average, on-base percentage of 331, slugging of 409, with an OPS of 741, with an OPS plus of 102, and a WAR of 1.5. Had 11 home runs, 59 RBIs, and 464 at-bats. So, obviously, he's 2 points over the batting average of an OPS plus. So, I would just, he's 29 years old. I would say go out, maybe see what you can get for him. You know, you would be replacing him, obviously, with a way better third baseman and Alex Bregman. He's, 2 years older than him, but think about it. He had a 273 batting average with an on-base percentage of 360, slugging 462, on-base of 821 with an OPS plus of 128. So 3.5 WAR. Obviously, better third baseman. Think he would do good with the Phillies. This is obviously also a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, Gold Glove. So has that experience, has the experience that you need to win in the playoffs. So I think that would be a good piece to unplug. Obviously, the Phillies are another team that have been making it, but just can't get over that big hump. So I would say look at that. And that would be the work. I'd say that's the pieces. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the GMs decide to do and what they decide to do and spend their money on. All right. So let's discuss a situation that happened in one of the college. Well, let's talk about it. Fudge it. So actually, we'll scratch this. We'll scratch that. Okay. So let's discuss Mr. Shedeur Sanders, you guys, and I saw this live. Got some playing time against the Ravens. He came in the second half after Dylan was exited with a concussion protocol. Listen, I saw it. Let's discuss the stats. So he had 4 completions on 16 attempts with 47 yards. He threw 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Also rushed 3 carries for 16 yards. The Browns were leading when he came in 16-10, but immediately lost 23-16. Some positive takeaways. Sanders got his first NFL completion, which is a good milestone, obviously. He contributed with some rushing yards, showing that he has some mobility. He gained a real game experience with the NFL situation, especially the Ravens. Obviously, some areas to improve. Completion rate was very low. Too many misses. The interception and sacks was a highlight issue. The offense staggered. So here's my thing. Because I saw somebody say some crazy nonsense. It didn't even make sense to me. I'm about to play it right now if I can find it. Where is it at? Let's just listen to this real quick, and then we'll go over everything else.
Anybody with eyes who watched that game could tell you Dylan Gabriel wins you that football game yesterday.
You positive about that?
Look at the stats,
Are
man.
you positive about that? Are you
all
trying to? Are you
do-
trolling me? Are you really trolling me, Max?
Ken,
Max.
look at that first half, Ken. Look at that first half.
Yeah, what about that first half?
What did Dylan Gabriel do in the first half?
All you needed to do was take care of the football in that second half and play with the lead. We threw an interception. We turned the ball over multiple times with Shedeur at quarterback. Are you really, after watching that, thinking that Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise with a week of practice?
No.
With 2 weeks of practice?
No, but nobody was saying that. But you're making two different arguments. You're saying Dylan Gabriel would have given them a shot to win. They just would have punted the ball back to
Max.
They would have kept giving Lamar Jackson opportunities.
Yeah, you'd have the ball there. That's what would have happened.
Anybody?
Okay, so obviously that was, a fan of the Cleveland Browns, typical, saying some crazy things. So here's what I'll say. Here's the thing. I don't think it would have been a different result if Dylan was in the game. Now, who knows? May I be wrong? Of course. We never know. But I personally don't think it would be a different result. And here's the problem that I have with that comment by that gentleman, because it's just like, here's what he's not understanding, because he's looking at it as just a fan watching the game, but he's not really looking at the advanced stats and everything overall. Especially when you played sports, you understand. Here's why he got sacked. Here's why he threw an interception. Here's why he may have looked lost. He may have not had that much completions and that many attempts of opportunities that he had. Ladies and gentlemen, he was put in the second half. And on top of that, it's like there was no practice to where he had a connection with his receivers. Literally, you saw on one play, 3 linemen were to the right. Literally left a gap wide in the middle, wide open for somebody coming and sack him. Why? Because they didn't go over plays. Those plays that they had were for Dylan Gabriel. If you don't know, before the game, I think it's Friday or Saturday, the coach goes over plays that Dylan likes, not what Shedeur likes. So we got to understand that was a different play style from what Dylan does, from what Shedeur does. So when you see that wide open gap and he's not knowing what to do, it's because it's not his play. He came in because the starter got hurt. So that's why many completions maybe didn't happen. That's why he was getting sacked a lot, because he didn't have that connection with his linemen. He didn't have that connection with his receivers. Ask Tom Brady if he would have had a receiver out there that he's not thrown the ball to. Fudge no. But me personally, and I would say this if I got to be very honest, that Browns team looks way nicer and looks like a more of a NFL team with Shedeur there than what it does with Dylan. That's what I'm saying that, and that's my opinion, and I don't give a damn what people say. But I personally feel like that team looks cleaner with Shedeur as a quarterback than Dylan. Literally. I saw a throw that Dylan made to one of his receivers. That shit looked trash. It literally looked trash. Now, obviously, Shedeur did something similar where he could have almost got a touchdown, but you got to give him a chance. You got to slow it down. I think people off of that one performance want to say, oh, he's garbage. Sit him down. Oh, my God. This dude stinks. Guys, it is a whole different aspect. Now, if he starts next weekend as the starter and does something like this, then we have a different conversation. But there's things that go into every single game. People think that you just go and throw the ball and it's a simple 1-2. No. You got to have connections. You got to understand with the flaws, the positive, the pros and cons of who you're throwing to, being your receivers, your tight ends, your running back, your O-lineman. You got to understand all of that as a quarterback. People got to understand it's not just a simple throw the ball and that's it. No, because you got people that want to get you. You got people that want to block those people you're throwing to. So you're going out of war. And the connection obviously wasn't there. He was not new. Now, I love how he went after. That was awesome. We're about to play it right now. I loved how he went and, discuss everything.
I don't think I played good. I don't think I played good at all. I think it's a lot of things, we need to look at, during the week and go and just get comfortable even throwing routes, with Jerry and throwing routes with all those guys. So I think that was my first ball to him all year. Nah, but other than that, I just think overall we just gotta go next week and understand, so then we have a week to prepare. Stuff I like to do. I'm extremely thankful. Well, first let me say this: when Dylan out there playing and all that, I appreciate the fans, I appreciate everybody, but it don't really. I'm a good person overall, so I don't really like him not feeling comfortable, confident, when he get out there. So, it puts everything in a tough spot, and it's not helping the team, So that could be taken as, okay, I'm being a distraction, even though I ain't doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing, but I'm thankful for the supporters, thankful for the fans, thankful for everybody out there, that believes. And, when I got out there, I definitely felt them. And, I'm truly thankful for it. And, yeah, I'm just thankful that I'm out here. I'm thankful for the opportunity.
So that's Shedeur. That's great. Love the way he did that. Love the way he carried himself there, very professionally. That's awesome. I think it's just, he did great. Let's take a look at what Miles said too.
Sure. Just tell him to keep his head up. I know there was one drive in which he kind of walked off, and I saw him. He was putting his head down. I know he was kind of thinking about, I know he wants to make the play. He wants to, have that game-changing drive because, he feels like he has that ability, and, we've seen it. So, don't be discouraged from, one drive or two drives. It's a good, football team over there. So, just trying to keep him to, keep his confidence high, and keep on chasing that standard in which he set. And we're gonna continue to support him. He spoke after the game, and he wanted to pin it on himself and his performance, but we're not gonna allow him to do that. It's a team game, so we're all in this together.
So that was great. Love that by Miles. Obviously, you guys, it's like I said, people got to calm down. He just started. He went in literally with, a whole different aspect. He literally said it there. That was probably his first time throwing to Jerry Jeudy, you guys. We got to hold our horse. People got to, chill the heck down because people just be tripping. I don't know what goes on with these fans. Now, let's talk about Myles Garrett that we brought him up. Myles is a freaking beast, you guys. This mother trucker is kicking ass. This dude is kicking ass. I'm telling you, kicking ass. But it sucks that he's just on the Browns where those motherfuckers are just dog shit. It sucks, but you guys, in 2024, he had 14 sacks. This year, he has 10 sacks in 11 games, my people. Literally, I think he had 3 or 4 against the Ravens yesterday. This dude is a freaking beast, y'all. Literally, he's a beast. I think, and it sucks because he signed this year in March a 4-year extension with the Browns to 2030. So he's going to be there for a second unless they trade him. But this dude's a beast, y'all. And I think he's a couple sacks away from breaking the record. Let me see. What's the record right now? Sacks in season record. It's 22.5. That's held by Michael Strahan and TJ Watt, who was close. TJ Watt tied it in 2021. He's already at, let me see. So he needs 23. He's currently at, let's see, Myles Garrett's sacks. Sacks 25. He's at 15, you guys. 15, and they still have, I believe, 6 more games. So he currently right now needs minus 15. He needs 8 more to break the record, which I think he could do. Let me see, because here's the thing. Browns, let's see, 2020, nope. 2025 schedule. So they play the 49ers next. Then they play, I think they got a bye week. Yeah, so they play the 49ers next. Then they play the Bears. No, I'm lying. My bad. So they play the Raiders next week. Then they play the 49ers. Then they play the Titans, the Bears, the Bills, the Steelers, and then the Bengals. I want to say he could definitely do some damage against the Raiders. Definitely, for sure, against the Titans. Niners, we'll see. Bears, possibly. Bills, we'll see. Steelers, yeah. I think he could do it. I think he could personally break that record. I think so. This dude is causing disruption, but what sucks is just he's not winning. He's not winning the big one. Now, I remember seeing reports of the Eagles were interested in trading for him. I don't know what happened with that, but in many teams, but that's the only thing that would suck. But this dude, you guys, is a beast, bro. I just had to give him some shine because what he's doing is just out of this world. Like, damn. Now, the last topic here we're going to discuss, and then I will be out of y'all's hair, is the Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase situation. Now, here's why it's being brought up a lot. Many people are talking about it. Because, obviously, folks are being lied to, and then you see the truth, all that. It's a whole situation. Let's just start off with Jamar Chase, and then we'll go to Jalen Ramsey's comments. We'll do that.
Walk us through what happened with Jalen.
Exchanging words.
He was saying that you spit on him. Did you spit on him?
I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
What do you think prompted the reaction from him?
Well, he don't like some of the words I told him. We've been going back and forth the whole time, so I'm sure some got under his skin.
So it was building the whole game. It just wasn't on that drive.
The first time we had a altercation, and then it was the second time.
Is that the first time in your career anybody's ever?
All right, so that's Jamar Chase is comments on his side of the story. Let's see what Jalen got to say, because Jalen obviously got a different story.
He spit on me, so it's up. I don't give a fuck about football after that. Respectfully. He spit on me, so it's up. I don't give a fuck about football after that. Respectfully.
So that is Mr. Jalen's comments. Now let's take a look at one thing that is going to solidify the truth. All right, so as we see right here, look at that. As we see right here, Chase spits on Jalen Ramsey. Not good at all. So here's the problem. The problem is that why you lie? Why you lie? Like just go to Jalen and be like, hey, listen, bro, my bad, dude. My bad for doing that shit. And that's it. Go into the tunnel or go get him personally. Go reach out to him. Be like, hey, dog, my bad, bro. My bad for doing that stupid shit. I was so dumb doing that. And that's it. But you go and spit on the guy. Like, bro, what the hell are you doing? What is wrong with you doing that shit? And then you go into the interview with people and you lie. You say you don't spit on him, that you never said nothing. You never opened up your mouth to that man. You got caught in 8K. So the NFL, they're probably going to suspend you, which the Bengals do not need. And it's not going to be good. Jalen's probably going to get a fine, but come on, dude. This shit is ridiculous, fellas. Like, I try to process and understand why people like to spit on other people. Because when you spit on somebody, that's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You can talk about their mom. You can say something about, well, I don't know about maybe their kid. That's probably almost to the same level. But you can talk about their mom. You could talk about them. You could talk about, whatever they're doing, that they suck, whatever. But the moment you spit on somebody, it's a wrap. It's with no question a wrap. Because you don't ever spit on someone. That's something that you never, ever do. Ever. You never spit on somebody. And for him to do that shit, hell no, bro. Hell no. As a grown-ass man, too, you would have to see me. You would literally have to see me, because it's just, no, sir. I would never spit on somebody, ever. And I get it. Sometimes when we get amped up and we're arguing and all that, sometimes people, it's a little bit, but like, oh, my bad, bro. But when you go on somebody, yeah, hell no, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. And I think Jalen did nothing but that's a wrap, dude. That's just not acceptable. And then you go and then you lie about it too. Like, come on, bro. You got to do better. You got to be better than that. That's all I'm gonna tell you, because this shit's just that's unprofessional, literally. Now I know there's a bunch of more situations with the NFL, with their players, what they got going on and all that, but I'm gonna wrap it up here, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Listen, I know I've been a bit inconsistent, but trust me, you guys, we're going to be back. We're going to be better than ever. I'm really focused. I'm trying to, how could I put it? I'm trying to put my mindset, or not my mindset. I'm trying to do different things. I'm trying to really focus on changing stuff up. I really want to focus on making the style of the videos look better. I want the background to look better. I want it to be more presentable, more nicer. So I'm in the process of working on that little by little. I'm trying to look every single day for things. We're going to get to it. We're going to be consistent. Trust me. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Like I say every single time, my people. Stay humble, stay blessed, stay positive, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.